I work with Ravi on customer success and go-to-market strategy and all the things. So Ravi is the founder of ProvenBase. So I wanted to give Ravi a chance to kind of share what ProvenBase is doing and show the product. The first thing, and I think this is why on a practitioner-led call, I feel comfortable having Ravi. Ravi is very kind and generous and gives back. One thing that ProvenBase is doing is any recruiters or sourcers who are between jobs, he will give you free access to help with your job search. And I thought that was a great gesture. And by the way, if you take that access, you get trained by David. And so, so you get to hang out with David and Ravi. All right. It's a win-win. It's a win-win. It's a win-win. So Ravi, thank you for giving back to the community that you are creating product for. So tell us, Ravi, what ProvenBase is and kind of what you guys are doing.
Sure. Thank you, Jeremy, for having me. So one of the things that what we are doing is, as you all know, sourcing in general. So I'm not going to get to the basics of sourcing because you guys are all experts here. So, but what I'm going to tell is how we are differentiating, how we are approaching in general, given the times we are in. One is definitely giving back to the community is one of the core missions of ProvenBase, because we all need to support each other. I think that's the only way we can all succeed. With that being said, the way we are thinking about sourcing is the old ways, the traditional ways, how everyone was doing is not going to be enough anymore. So we have to look at ways how we can really push the envelope a little and try to go after, sources that are not traditionally, that is not traditional. So what I mean by that is, so we are actually on Monday, we're launching our new product capability called Deep Search. So basically what it does is it goes beyond your traditional sources and get the candidates from thousands of sources. It creates candidates for you, to be very precise, on the fly from the internet, based on whatever you may be looking at. You may be looking at a veterinarian. You may be looking at a rocket scientist. You may be looking at a whatever, whatever you're looking at, as long as you're out there somewhere. So we go out and get the candidates and create it for you. So what it does for you is it answers a lot of questions. It also helps recruiters or sourcers to, on traditional sources, you may be reaching out 30% of the candidates. So which means 70% of the candidates are somewhere else out there. Maybe they're writing blogs. They have their own websites. They have their own other information. They probably are not updating the traditional sources as much as the work they are doing because they're busy doing other things. But they may be updating the blog. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to go find that information of this person and add to what you have, number one. Number two is a lot of people may not be on these sources that you're traditionally used to. So we're going after that sources as well and creating this new profiles for you. With that, what happens is, one, what happens when I exhaust my search? What happened? Where do you get the data from? What are the sources you're using?
Ravi, hold on one sec for me. David, are you able to share your screen and log in real quick to ProvenBase?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, while Ravi, I don't want to distract Ravi with Ravi doing it, but I want to jump in because Jackie and I have a really long history in what I still call the people aggregator space. I do think that term, I'm the only one still saying it. So sorry, I haven't evolved completely yet, but people aggregator space. So what is that for people catching you up? If you look at like the sourcing data as a tall building, Jackie remembers this conversation. You've got the ground floor is the ATS, second floor is your company's CRM. The ground floor, everybody will reply to you. They all gave you their mobile numbers. They're all interested in your company because they've applied in the past, right? The CRM, those are people you've nurtured. They may be from your ATS. You're nurturing them. It's got a decent response rate. The third floor is going to be LinkedIn. It's a necessary evil for all of us, right? You really can't operate without it anymore. You might get like a 30% response rate from LinkedIn candidates. And then the next layer up is, I used to say job boards, but Monster and Career Builder are laying everyone off. And I don't know what's happening to job boards, right? But that next layer, and those are people who like, they got annoyed with their boss over the weekend. They got sad on Sunday thinking about their boss on Monday morning and they uploaded their resume. So you have a high response rate there, right? but you don't always find the people you need in those first 3 or 4 floors, right? So then what do? You go start doing manual searches of the internet. So the people aggregator space has historically said, we're bringing all this data in and we're going to give it to you. Now, what actually happens, I think all of you know, is all of these companies buy the 600 million LinkedIn profiles from someone like People Data Labs, and they put them in there, and you're searching data you already have. Again, right? But now, I mean, the good thing is you can get about 70% of their email addresses, right? And so this is where the people aggregator space is delivering, okay? So if I had to say the one thing that Ravi and ProvenBase are trying to do that is beyond that is going to be deep search. Now, David, if you could jump into deep search real quick.
Yeah.
And let me show everybody what I'm talking about, right? So when you go into most people aggregators, you're going to see what you've already seen. You're going to see the LinkedIn profiles, and they might have added GitHub, Stack Overflow, and a Facebook link.
Actually,
right?
sorry, Jeremy, I can share the screen, David. I have a couple.
Oh, yeah. No, go for
Oh,
it.
if you've got, if you've got one.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you've got one ready to go. What I want to show, Ravi, is like most people aggregators, you get to the end of that list, right? And so Ravi's got the data that most of you already have access to. Now I'm going to add that to the stage. There you go. All right. And so if I could talk real quick, Ravi, so you just do a search right there. So let's say you looked at everybody that fits your criteria in ProvenBase, which is going to be a real similar data set to what your other people aggregators have. And you're like, that's not enough, I need more. Now come down and do a deep search. So there's the sourcing lab. It looks like others that you may have seen.
Right.
So once you've exhausted the sourcing lab, then you can move on to deep search. Now, deep search is going to be really valuable for a lot of things, but especially like healthcare and veterinarians, people who may not get on LinkedIn, right? And so if you look, let's pick one of these, that data engineer in Denver. All right, so you'll see it found 176 new candidates. It did 3,128 different searches. It used 572 different resources, and then it analyzed 3,200 web pages. And you could see the websites where it ended up pulling the most candidates from. Right. So it's like the people aggregators you may have used. However, you can, at the end of it, you could say, that's not enough, do more. Go deeper. So,
yep. So essentially, what it is doing, as Jeremy is saying, is it instantly finding. When I say instantly, it takes time, like a few minutes. For a typical sourcer, it may take like a couple of days. But what it does is, or a day maybe, this goes and does these searches and gives you the candidates within a few minutes here, typically 7 to 10 minutes, and it finds, crawls, create profiles, maps. So it does all the things behind the scenes and gets you the data like this. So everything is interactive. So essentially, it's a dynamic database, what we're building here. It's also a white box solution. There is nothing we are hiding. Everything is transparent here. We show where we are pulling it from, what we are getting out of it. So that's the beauty of it, right? So recently I was looking for a veterinarian in Rockwall, Texas. So what it did is, within 5 minutes and 15 seconds, I was able to get 472 candidates, out of which 147 are matched, 138 partially matched here. It went through 2,628 web pages and give me the results. The results looks like this. So these are all the different sites it went to. These are all the different relevancies I have. So if you look at
go
here,
up and look at, let's zoom in on those sites, Ravi, real quick. I just want to show that how it's actually crawling. It's Colleen Vet Clinic, VCA Hospitals, City Vet, right? So it's actually crawling. So it's doing more of the manual sourcing work. I think a lot of times a good sourcer, they're wanting to look at speakers from conferences. Veterinarians are on the local vet pages, but they're going through Google to do it, right? This is actually automating all of that for you, which is a nice next step.
Yeah, it shows what we have existing, what is new. So it's like you're always getting new candidates here. So that's the beauty of it. And you can do your search here. You can put a relevancy, how close you want it to be. You can include domains, exclude domains. So a lot of flexibility there. And also you can enter names that you want to find, additional information, or a person that you would like to see what else is there, journals, publications, anything else I have written. So it goes beyond, and literally it goes after thousands of sources and gets you the candidates that you're interested in. So that's deep search for you. That's kind of
Robbie,
how.
If I could summarize real quick, right? We just showed you kind of the new thing. The one thing that I want to make sure everybody's clear on is all of the assumed functionality is there. It's North America based. It's got 200 million plus candidates. It gives you email addresses. They have drip campaign functionality. They can connect to your Outlook or your Gmail, right? So they've got all of those things that are kind of assumed functionality of the players in the space. What I really wanted Ravi to show today is what they have that is well beyond that.
Yep. Yeah, we have all the other things, the smart search capabilities, conversational searches. We have very unique things within that also. Obviously, in the interest of time, I'm not going to show a lot of those today, but I think the new and upcoming that is a huge benefit to the community is the deep search, how we are redefining the sourcing from the traditional approaches that we are all used to.
Yeah, I'm gonna call Jackie out. What are you seeing, Jackie? What questions you got?
I'm just wondering how much people are taking the time to look at any of the aggregate data when we're going so fast. And I'm wondering if I'm one that's working on this piece, like that's really overwhelming. And so like, I want to get to the ones that I need to call. Like, how does it sort those? And I also think about the people that I want to be able, are the top candidates, or is it the top candidates with full profiles? That's always the question, where it's like, these become the top because we know their information is all like current versus they're the best candidates. And can I put a measurement there so that I can change the things that are important to me as an organization? So that's what I am wondering.
Real quick, let me give an initial answer before we go to Ravi. So I think I'd love to know what Ravi's answer to that question is within the full database. And the full database are richer profiles. Now, what you're going to see with the deep search, it's the people who don't hit that full database. So I would say it's harder to say who is actually more qualified. What this is really good for is these are people who are not in the database, probably because their profile is not as full. Right. And so you're right. These people you would need to. And one of the things that I'm going to go ahead and call out is I think AI interviewing with this level of data is going to be a whole new frontier. Do you know what I'm saying? Because what would take us so much time to craft so many messages for and to send out there is so. I saw one AI interview thing the other day. There were 87 candidates, and they sent 600 messages, made 200 calls, and interviewed like 35 of them in the first day. You know what I'm saying? Like the AI interview. So yeah, this data partnered with those systems is going to be insane. But I do think that you're right on the deep search. Oftentimes, it will require actual vetting with the candidate to kind of know who ranks where. Ravi, what's your technical answer to that question? Because mine was more philosophical.
No, in general, I think, if I'm understanding Jackie's question correctly, so it's like, you're already overwhelmed with a lot of data, and how can we are doing things fast. How can it get to it when you have, all this information, right? So I think the way we are trying to approach that is, I was on a call, in a session with Pete Radloff. I'm sure you probably know him. So one of the things he said is, we are going after the same type of data, every one of us, that we get on these sources that we use traditionally. And the problem is, they may not even care about to respond because it's the same messages. So what if I have that weird one data point that I may not, I may reach out to them. Like, for example, someone was saying, I was found an article about this guy doing a SWAT fight. He is really interested in that particular skill. So the guy was able to connect on that particular topic, and he got a quick response when he actually reached out to the person with that particular topic. So having that unique data point access can make a big difference. That's one of the ways to think about it. The second thing is also, for example, if you look at this particular profile, this one, they have like a remote area. They're trying to search for a certified surgical technologist. They couldn't find many people. There are like 3 or 4 people available. So having this, this person is, for example, not on LinkedIn. So there is a unique place that they were able to find this person and go to, this particular site, and they were able to get this additional information on this person. There is a, blog about this person, right? So this does the work that, you probably did not thought about it, that probably, goes beyond the usual means that you may be going after. Yeah, I mean, it may not be meant for every single person, every single skill, but, it also gives you that edge, that uniqueness for you to really see what else I can do in order, as you're going fast, but also how effective I can be while I'm doing that, how many responses I can get, right?
Now we're all going to be trying to figure out what this person actually does now. That's an interesting profile. So, Ravi, that's a great answer. Any other observations from Jackie? I'm not asking David because David works for ProvenBase. So
no, I think we're going to be getting. I think it'll be interesting because speed is going to have everything to do with it, and we're going to be transitioning from candidate experience and trying to do like speed and conversation. And I think it'll be interesting how we go through all of these candidates. I don't see how you can do it without AI. I don't see how you can.
Yeah, and I will say, like, one thing that I am really impressed with what Ravi's done. He didn't mention it today, but there's a lot of DEI focus within the product, right? And political climate has changed, and I think what people want from diversity, equity, inclusion is still kind of to be determined from these products, right? I think there's some stuff going on, but I am proud of the work that Ravi has done there. And I do think, Jackie, it would be good for you two to connect at some point, right? To kind of validate, like, there's so much that he's done that needs to live on. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, what's most valuable from that work, and how do we continue to kind of do that, as laws and the climate is evolving. So I do think that would be a good side conversation for you guys to have at some point, is kind of help him look at that and make sense of it. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely love to have conversation and see what do you think, Jackie, furthermore on all the different things.
No, got a cup of coffee. I'm good.
Well, I first off, I want to thank all of you guys. Jackie's always a shot of energy. She gave me a warning yesterday. She said, Jeremy, I just got back from California, so I'm going to be really groggy. And I said, oh, groggy Jackie is a normal person, right? And so yeah. So you did not seem groggy. You are still above normal person energy, Jackie. So by the way, say hi to Todd. I got a funny text from Todd this morning. He said, Todd and I's relationship is, people say that they have a work wife or a work husband. Jackie and I have always thought that was kind of a gross sounding thing. So we've always said sister and brother. And so Todd is like that guy dating my sister who sends me funny TikToks. You know what I'm saying? So like Todd and I send funny TikToks for about 2 years, and then we see each other in person and we're really good. We would be really good friends if we lived in the same place, right? But so yeah, Todd and I were just interacting this morning. So but anyway, so thank you, Jackie, for joining. Thank you, Ravi, for taking time to show everybody some of the new things ProvenBase is doing. And then David, thank you as always for joining. And I want to remind everybody, if you are a sourcer or recruiter between jobs, reach out, and it'll help you. The one piece of advice I would give, when I knew I was transitioning out of my last role, I started looking for a job and I couldn't find a job. So I had to flip the script and call people and say, what problems are you trying to solve? And do you have any money? Right? Because people have problems and they have budget. That might be a contract role. It might be some money they saved by canceling a technology they weren't using. Right? There are places in the budget. And then they'll say, I have this many $1,000s. And you're like, that'll get you 6 weeks. And that's 6 weeks you don't have to use your severance or your savings. Right? So my encouragement to everybody looking for employment right now is stop looking for jobs and start finding problems and money, because that's really what you need. And what Ravi's offering is a system that will give you the names and the contact details that you need to have that conversation, instead of chasing jobs that don't exist and applying to black holes. All right.
Yep.
So anyway, thank you all for joining today, and we will see you all soon.
See you. Thank you.
I had to leave it going just for Jackie there, the dance.